My name is Paige Jacobson, and I'm 14 years old in the 8th grade at Robert J. Elkington Middle School in Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
Hi, my name's Adam Jacobson. I'm 12 years old. I'm in 6th grade. I spent 1/6 of my life on this project, and I'm also in Grand Rapids, Minnesota at Robert J. Elkington Middle School. And I'm very excited to talk to you today about a project, Are You a Ticking Bomb? So when we were thinking of a science fair project, we wanted to do a problem that was big and important.
So we turned to the scientific method. The first step in the scientific method is to observe a problem. We did this by we were talking to our friend who happened to be a pharmacist, and she was saying how sick people were coming in with symptoms of Lyme disease. So we thought, Eureka! We can help, and we really want to help. So the next step in the scientific method is to create a question. We did that too. What variables increase a person's risk for developing symptoms of Lyme disease?
So why does any of this matter? Why does this little deer tick cause so many troubles? Well, here's some facts about it. There are 34 new cases of Lyme disease each hour. There's 500,000 new cases of Lyme disease each year. And Lyme disease can cause a lot of financial problems, but it can even cause more health problems.
So the next step in the scientific method is to create a hypothesis. We did that too. If a brief assessment tool is given to a person, then a risk score for developing symptoms of Lyme disease can be found.
So once we had our hypothesis, we started asking doctors who've seen people and worked with people who had Lyme disease and asked questions like, how did they feel, how did they look, what did they do when they start getting sick? And then we asked people who had Lyme disease or still have Lyme disease due to chronic Lyme disease and asked them, how do you feel when you start getting sick, why do you start getting sick, stuff like that. And then we all, at the end of it, we had this big chunk of data. What we did was we made it all into one survey. So once we had our hypothesis done, we started asking everyone we knew, our friends, our family, even complete strangers. By the end of it, we had 548 people. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much. What are we going to do? We're never going to get this done by science fair. But then we found out about this one program, complex computer program called Design Expert, where it takes big chunks of data but turns it into one graph.
So two major health focuses in medicine right now are big data and precision medicine. So big data, what that is it's basically collecting tons of data, like our survey did. And precision medicine, it's basically making medicine so specific that it's specific to you, it's specific to a group of people with the same common symptoms. An example of that is the coronavirus. As of March 21st, 2020, Minnesota had 138 confirmed cases with 1 death. Wisconsin had 281 confirmed cases, and North Dakota had 28 confirmed cases. This is especially important to the Lyme community because they have lower T cells, B cells, and natural killers, making it much easier for them to get the coronavirus. And if they do get it, making it much harder for them to get rid of it too.
Speaking of the coronavirus, there are 2 things that people have been told or advised that they should do. One is isolate themselves, and one is to go outside. And that's a big issue with Lyme disease. Because if you're walking outside and you're worried about getting coronavirus, but then you don't even know some of these small ticks on you. And what the ticks does is, just as Paige was saying, they lower your immune system. And then when the coronavirus comes, then you'll have more sicker symptoms of coronavirus than just normal person with coronavirus before. So that's why the big general population is now going to have a big upturn in cases of Lyme disease because they're advised to go outside. But anyway, back to a Design Expert. Once we put all of our participants inside Design Expert, we started having to do all these things, like make sure the ANOVA tables would match up, make sure these graphs would make sense. But by the end of it, we can determine anyone's risk score between 18 and 97.
So a couple of interesting facts about Lyme disease is that there are no accurate tests available to tell you if you're cured of Lyme disease. On average, people see 5 doctors over a 2-year span before being diagnosed with Lyme disease. And Lyme disease is a $75 billion industry each year.
So now with our survey, we can determine anyone's score between 18 and 97. We can alert people who have done our survey if they have symptoms of Lyme disease or they're more likely to get Lyme disease, if they should talk to their doctor, and if they're kind of sick and their doctor thinks that's a great idea, they should get tested, then they can get tested, thus leading to a quicker diagnosis, thus leading to a quicker treatment, and thus leading to a less chance of having chronic Lyme disease, which never goes away. But we can determine your risk score if you give us an age, a gender, and your Lyme status, and we can decide if are you a ticking Lyme bomb.
So this is the part where we would ask you your age and gender and Lyme status, but since the coronavirus happened, we cannot have a face-to-face conference. So instead, we have a few that can be done. So he picked a 39-year-old male. So we made these cards ourselves. They have Lyme status, gender, and age, and a couple interesting Lyme facts. So he picked a 39-year-old male. Thank you. So a 39-year-old male. So this is the male category. So this triangle is the people who do not have Lyme disease. The square is the people who do have Lyme disease. So you can see these little bars right here are called confidence intervals. If they're not touching each other, which they're not right now, that means that the data is statistically accurate. If they were touching, that means they're not statistically accurate, but they're not, so that's really good. So I'm gonna click on them and this is the males who do have Lyme disease. They have a comp score of
5.
Yes, they have a comp score of 5, and the males who do not have Lyme disease has a comp score of
about 3.5. And that's a big difference between the people who have Lyme disease and don't.
So what this basically means is that if you scored closer to a 3.5, then we would say, you know what, you might have symptoms of Lyme disease, but you probably don't have Lyme disease. You might just have something else. But if you scored closer to a 5 or even above, we would say you probably should go get tested to see, make sure. Just cross that off our list. Then we're going to pick one more.
So I pulled a female that is 66 years old.
Okay. So I'm going to set it to a 66-year-old. So here's the female category. This is, again, the females who do have Lyme disease. This is the females who don't have Lyme disease. So we're going to click on them again. So the females who do have Lyme disease have a comp score of
7.8.
And the females who don't have Lyme disease have a comp score of
3.5.
So this is a dramatic difference again. So if you scored closer to this one, we would say, or even above, we would say maybe go get tested. But if you scored closer to here or down, we would say, you know what, it's probably not. You should probably have maybe some symptoms, but not all symptoms. So in conclusion, we learned so much from doing this project. We learned that we can now give a risk score off our survey and try to help make our world a better place to live in and a better, more fun to walk in the woods, less worry.
We have now become experts with the scientific method and know how important it is to life and solving a problem. We will use this knowledge to study more about Lyme disease in the future to help out our world of curing Lyme disease.
Thank you so very much for doing this, for listening to our project. We hope you liked it. And here's a little bit of our board since you couldn't hear to see it. These are a few pictures of us when we went to labs and at our home doing.
And this is a bullseye rash, which is one of the confirmed diagnoses of Lyme disease.
There's your spirochete.